Hello, hello. This is Newbies to Movies, a podcast where we like to talk about new movies. I'm Tyler.
And I'm Justin.
And this week is Quentin Tarantino Part 2. And we have back on Nathan as a guest for our Part 2. Welcome back, Nathan.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Yeah. This is the Part 2 to it, where we're trying something a little new this week, where we're doing two movies that we've watched in the past, but I think we really like them. So that's why we really want to talk about them and a little bit more in depth and really go into two movies, in my opinion, that have a big impact on culture and other directors that have made movies out of this. So first, though, what we're going to do is give a little shout out of something you've been watching for the past week or in the past that you just want to talk about a little bit. Justin, you want to go first?
Yeah, so obviously honing in on Quentin Tarantino, I made it a mission to finish all his movies, make sure I've watched every single one of them as we'll be ranking them later. One that I wanted to talk about was Death Proof, one that I don't hear talked about a lot for him. I didn't really like it, to be honest, and I see why people don't talk about it. Definitely my least favorite of his. I think that it kind of feels like two movies at some points, and I wish that Kurt Russell's character was a little more drawn out, but I definitely think you guys should watch it and let me know what you think. Tyler, have you seen that one?
Nope. That's the only one I haven't seen. A horror movie would intrigue me, but since I haven't heard about it and it's his lowest rating, it's also one of those things where I don't want to go watch it and then be so disappointed.
See, even Madison told me before I watched it, I'm not a horror fan. She's like, this is a horror movie. And I was like, I watched it and I was just like, it really wasn't. It just felt like another Tarantino movie with less plot development, less character building. It was just a little more gory, which is not even saying that much for Tarantino. It's not like he shies away from gore.
Yeah. No,
and it's just like it's just like a creepy guy. That's like the horror of it. It's not like a serial killer or anything like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I still feel I should check it out, just finish it off with his
definitely
films,
do.
But yeah. What about you, Nathan?
Shout out to my wife and I. We just watched His and Hers, talk about a great kind of, whodunit mystery thriller. I think the storyline of it was really well done. And I will say that when I saw who it was at the very end, I was completely surprised.
Yeah. Yeah. If you don't want any spoilers, jump ahead 2 minutes. Justin, I don't know. Are you going to try to check this out?
I probably won't watch it.
Yeah. Okay. So at the end of the movie, it turns out to be her mom. And I didn't see that the whole movie. I think it's such an interesting thing because they barely show the mom the whole fucking series. And then you're shocked that why would they make the person who did it not even close to a main character who's barely in the series at all. So I feel like there's no way for anybody to be yeah, I thought it was her. If anybody says that, I just don't believe them. They're just lying.
Well, and that's the thing is I've heard a couple people say by episode 3 or 4, they had a good guess on who it was. I'm like, there's no way you had a good guess on who you even thought it was. But I think they did a great job of placing small little details along the way, showing that how it was what she did. That was pretty interesting.
The end definitely shocked me. I thought John Bernthal, I really like him as an actor. I thought that he was really well. But Tessa Thompson, for me, I don't know. I think she was kind of a miss. I wish somebody else did the role low-key. I don't think she was that great.
That's interesting because I like her. I think she's a good actor, but
their chemistry for me, I wasn't very believable. There was a lot of parts to it. Her as a character for itself wasn't all that believable. So I don't know. Maybe she was just the biggest miss on me, while John Bernthal was the complete opposite. But I also really like him in everything he's in. I mean, it was cool to see him be a star in something rather than he's always just a random side character that does craziest things. Also, John Bernthal just doesn't like naps. I don't know what he has against naps. I don't know if you guys have seen that at all.
I have seen that.
It's
you're
don't bring up naps
man.
around him.
Why are you taking a nap?
Yeah, he's if you're taking a nap, the world's moving. I don't know why you're napping. It cracks me up. That guy does not like naps. For me, I'll shout out Jackie Brown. It's the one movie that I hadn't seen by him other than Reservoir Dogs we did last week. I like Jackie Brown, parts to it. But I will say, out of most of it had me pretty bored. I wasn't as involved into it. Didn't really care as much. Thought Samuel L. Jackson was good in it. And that's about all I could say. Robert De Niro was also in it, which I was a little shocked that we didn't draft him in the draft. But I think just because he was a nothing character in that one.
Yeah, I didn't get much out of him.
Yeah, such a great actor that just kind of a nothing burger performance for me compared to a lot of his other ones. But
so I guess Tarantino
Yeah,
a
go ahead.
sellout for it. I guess he basically sold out on that one and just kind of made the movie Hollywood wanted him to make. I don't know. It felt like that, though. It didn't feel like a Tarantino movie.
Did not feel like he took any risk.
Yeah.
And then right after that, just made Kill Bill like his own thing. And then
Yeah.
clearly started taking more risk with his like later like, 2000s and 2010 movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jackie Brown, it's not a horrible movie. I think by most directors, you would think it's just fine. But for a Tarantino film, just didn't feel like his film. Cool. Awesome. So this week, we're doing part 2 for Quentin Tarantino. Specifically, we're doing Django Unchained and Inglourious Basterds. 2 of my favorite movies of all time. Both of them are in my top 10. That's really why I wanted to talk about it. And I think it's just this quintessence, like what makes him so good as a director are these movies. Yeah, I think they're pretty widely like renowned for being really great movies as well. I don't really know anybody that says like, "Oh, these movies suck." Like,
Yeah.
most people, if they ask them if you like, they'd say they like these movies. But yeah, cool. Justin, do you want to start with Inglourious Basterds?
Yeah, I can start. Inglourious Basterds is a really interesting movie. I probably sat down when I was in high school to watch this movie thinking it was just like a World War II movie. Damn, was I wrong? The plot it really follows 3 main acts. I think obviously it follows the Germany occupation of France. And then the Allied officer Aldo Rain, played by Brad Pitt, assembles a team of Jewish soldiers to commit war crimes on the Nazis, including taking their scalps, a big plot point in the movie. And he and his men join forces with Bridget von Hammersmark, and she's a German actress, undercover agent working with British intelligence, and she's obviously trying to bring down the leaders at the Third Reich, and their fates all can kind of converge on one another, similar to Pulp Fiction, I'd say, at the theater, where they seek vengeance on the Nazis and execute pretty much all of them. So I gave it a 9. I thought this plot was pretty amazing. Tarantino storytelling, jumping all over the place, but all converging on one main point and the timeline. And I think it was pretty great and pretty well done.
Yeah. It's like, by the end of this, you're going to get 100 Nazi scalps. Like, the whole opening monologue from Brad Pitt is just so funny and so iconic. Like, every time he's talking, it's just so funny. And for Brad Pitt, where like, before this, he's kind of like the it guy in Hollywood to just go out and do like this like silly but like role. It's just like kind of risky, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
But like, he nails it. Yeah, he's so good in this. But
you're right, because if it came off as too corny, like that's it.
Yeah. Yep. What about you, Nathan? What do you think overall?
Overall, I thought it was really well. I would love to harp on Christopher Waltz, which is one of my favorite characters within the Quentin Tarantino universe. Any role he plays, he does a phenomenal job. The biggest thing with him is I think it's consistent throughout different movies, but especially in Inglourious Basterds, is he does a great job of not letting the other characters know what his next step is. He always keeps everybody guessing. People think they know what he's going to do next. They have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. That kind of stuff and storytelling is awesome.
Yeah, getting into that with characters, I gave it a 9. He's talked about this with that character, and people ask him, like, how did you portray evil so well? And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm not portraying evil. This character thinks what he's doing is right. And I think that's so important, especially playing like really dark roles like this. He fully embodies that. And I think it's so amazing to see him take that in this, and as well as his character in Django is a pretty great one. I know you said last week that's you guys' favorite of his as well. But yeah, he's amazing. And he portrays this character so well.
Yeah. Like this week could easily be the Christoph Waltz like episodes too, because we're both it's like he won 2 Oscars for both these movies. Tarantino was like renowned for saying that it was so hard to find a guy for this, and then Waltz wasn't big. Like he found him like doing like a kids show, singing in German, but he also spoke English really well, and that's how he found him and be able to get him to convince him to do Inglourious Basterds, and now is like pretty good actor, like but obviously known for these 2 roles the biggest. Dude, there's so many iconic characters though. Like the Bear Jew as well is super like such a good like lead up to his scene, like where they're like trying to interrogate like where the next group is going to be and all that, and he's just batting it against. And then it introduces like this big bouldering character. The whole fact that like the Bastards themselves are Jewish and then getting revenge on Nazis, it's like That's awesome. Like, hell yeah. Yeah, dude. So good.
I'd be willing to argue within this movie, I don't think there's a single bad character. I think Quentin Tarantino hit the ball out of the park with casting on this movie. Like, I don't think there's anyone that kind of drops down low that kind of brings the movie down.
Yeah, I agree. It's so well done, and to the point where like he calls this his masterpiece. He's pretty, and where like other movies he said was his favorite. Like he liked making some other ones, but he thinks that this is his perfect movie.
Yeah, characters were knocked out of the park. Following that up, I gave cinematography a 9, shot by Robert Richardson again. It's really crisp, elegant, frame styles for such a hardened wartime. Everything was done so beautifully in a weird way, especially surrounding the Nazis. Like all their dinner scenes, every time you see a Nazi officer, everything around them is so pristine, which I thought was so interesting. Very good lighting in this too. That was a big standout for me. I don't know if it was just me, but yeah, I thought it was just really pretty, which is a weird thing to say about a movie like this.
Yeah. Yeah, like the shot backs from each other, like the quick, like where you can see it rather than like cutting to it, but rather like the flash of it. I thought was really cool. Different sequences with that. Like the whole final sequence of them like killing Hitler too, like, of the fire and all that. Like that's never been done in a movie, I think, before. Like just like this is not even like a spin on history. It's like, no, this is not like a World War II like history story. This is like a imagination of what we wish would happen. And then it's just like them just drilling bullets into Hitler. It's just like, how can you not just be like, hell yeah?
I want to piggyback off of, I think what I said last week was Quentin Tarantino loves doing all the practical stuff. Everything has to be practical. And pointing back toward the last scene where they're burning down the cinema, that all is practical. So, I mean, it looks fantastic. It's so much better than CGI when it's actually happening. You feel the heat from the fire just from the camera.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Very well done. It's clearly a real fire.
Getting into dialogue, I gave it a 10. I wanted to shout out our good buddy Mason. He probably quotes this twice every time I see him. He says, "I'd make that deal. How about you, Udovich? You make that deal?" He's scalping Herman's head, and he says, "Yeah, I'd make that deal."
Damn good deal.
Damn good deal.
I was waiting for you to finish it.
I think our buddy Mason quotes a bunch of things out of this movie a lot.
That's his favorite.
Yeah. The whole like opening monologue of the movie too, like in the house, introducing Hans Landa as a character while they're hiding under the board, and then introduced to like who owns like the cinema too. Like as she's like one of the only ones to escape. And then like the whole basement bar scene as well. Like the whole talkie sequences of that, like so much tension building up with each other. And then all it takes is him like not holding up the right 3 and then able to get taken out. And it's just, so many like good dialogue just back and forth. Again, so natural, but like also like Hollywood-esque, where like it isn't like a cringy Hollywood like esque kind of movie.
Nathan, what'd you think about the dialogue?
I thought the dialogue was fantastic. I mean, you have so many quotable lines from the movie that could be thrown in everyday type of conversations. So, I mean, I think it does a great balance of dialogue and action, and also tie it into cinematography for not showing everything all at once, letting the dialogue happen, and then it gets pulled back and you see more. You get to see kind of what else is going on within the scene that the audience isn't shown at first.
Sorry, I wasn't laughing at you. I was thinking about how to fit in 100 Nazi scalps into my everyday conversations.
Yeah. Sure, there's certain ways you can make that work.
No, but you are right. There is, it's really, really great. And I think this movie, comparatively to Reservoir Dogs, which we did last week, especially stands out with dialogue. Especially because in this movie, for being a World War II movie, it's not as much action as I was originally expecting. And I think that's what makes it so great. You're really seeing the chess matches going on behind the scenes.
Yeah. Dude, I just think like the whole, like, who speaks the most Italian? I do. Who speaks the second most? I speak a little bit. All right, you speak the third most. I don't speak Italian. Exactly, the third most. Gorlami.
It's Italian.
Yeah, it's such a funny accent too. Like, it's so, like, what do you think? He didn't get an accent coach for this, right? They just said, like, try to act Southern. Like, how do you think that worked?
Yeah, dude, he's...
because
I
it
mean, Brad
wasn't
Pitt's-
good, but it wasn't good on purpose.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just so good. We ain't in the prisoner taking business. We're in the killing Nazi business. And he's like a Southern accent while doing Italian. Gorlami. It just kills me.
I
Dude.
think Christopher Waltz asked him, and he's like, "Oh, I'm from the mountain side of Italy," or something like that.
Oh, dude, so good.
So, getting into set design, I gave it a 9. I thought it was so detailed, so historically inspired. I looked it up. It was headed by David Wasco and Sandy Reynolds Wasco. I'm assuming they're married. Focus on a very immersive, era accurate, and very claustrophobic environments. I think we could all feel that in the underground bar scene. It just felt really tight, and I think the set design was perfect in pretty much every scene. But the Parisian theater really stood out to me too. I thought that was really cool. Just to bring in the aspect of film in a film itself is always pretty neat to me.
Yeah, yeah. It's so coolly done. Also, like throughout like the set, like the Bastards, they're like kind of like this fantasy like group where like they're just so fast running around when they attack because they know where they're going to be. They know their plan because they just terrify them with the bear Jew. And then when they walk in with Michael Myers is like a cameo in it where they have this like command and all that. It's cool to see like that command and then also see like who the guy playing Hitler is, like see that different side of it as well. Yeah. It's just so well done.
I wish I had more to add on, but you guys kind of took it all. Everything just seems to fit perfectly within this movie.
Yeah. Getting into acting, I know we already kind of talked about it, but Christopher Waltz really stole the show here. Star-studded cast, though. I mean, damn, every corner you're just running into some other actor you know from somewhere. We haven't talked about it yet, so I'll talk about Michael Fassbender. He was pretty awesome in it. I mean, the nuts to go in there, right? And just act German. And he had almost everything down to a T, almost got away with it. And then, yeah, one little simple thing that, of course, nobody would ever think of. But I thought he did really great in this as well. And the nuts on Tarantino to kill half the team in the middle of the movie is a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah. I'm just reading up like some of the casting what ifs. Apparently, Tarantino originally wanted DiCaprio as Hans Landa, actually, but then he wanted a more German-speaking character. DiCaprio is one of the best actors alive, but I don't think he could even touch on what Christopher Waltz did in this movie.
I see the
quite
vision, though, with what he did in Django, which I'm sure we'll get into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Adam Sandler almost did Donnie Donowitz, the Bear Jew, but then there was scheduling conflicts, or else like he would have done it. He was the first choice for him, which I don't know how. I think if both of those happen at the same time, I think it's just a different movie. I think it's just slightly a little bit funnier, especially with Adam Sandler. I think he's just not as brooding as him either. So that makes it even like more interesting of like, was Adam Sandler going to go get ripped real quick? Or like he plays basketball a lot, so he's not like fat, but like he's not like swole like Eli Roth is. Yeah.
Anybody stand out for you, Nathan?
Should be people to think about within the movie. No, the only thing I really wanted to touch on was more about Christopher Waltz and kind of how he toys with Brad Pitt and all the other guys about saying Gorlami, and he keeps asking them to repeat it and repeat it. And then when he goes to the third guy and he says it the first time, it's like telling him, oh, good job, you got it the first time. Or bravo, good job. First time you got it. It sounds right.
Yeah. Daniel Bruhl plays like the German soldier actor guy. Like the whole piece of like him like being into like the cinema person that owns the cinema, but she's actually Jewish, which is like kind of playing like the irony of like him being obsessed with the Jewish girl. I think Daniel Bruhl plays like a very good like character in that as well, but that's just kind of like underlooked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much going on in the movie. He definitely gets overlooked, but yeah, he's a great actor as well and does great in this. Getting into directing, I gave it a 10. He always takes some very interesting narratives on not necessarily just historically accurate sequences, but like I talked about last week, the eras, right? He really dives into the eras when he's making his movies. And I think he did a really fantastic job at writing this. I thought it was 3 very distinct good acts, and bringing the ending all together was very good. Yeah,
this is the Kill Bill was his last contemporary film. Maybe Death Proof is like, now he's doing like historical pieces where like he did Glory Bastards, Django, Hateful Eight, and Once Upon a Time Hollywood of past things. And I really don't see his next film or his last one being a contemporary, like set in modern day. I think he wants like the non-smartphone kind of movie, like
Yeah.
not really, no technology really being a part of it. The most is like a cinema part to it. But yeah, I agree.
I just find it impressive bringing 3 separate stories all into one.
Yeah.
You have the story with the cinema owner, you have the story about the Bastards, and then you have the story about essentially just the Nazis themselves.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
all work in together in one weird way, and it worked very well.
Yeah. It's definitely impressive. A lot of mouths to feed when it comes to the acting, and I think it was perfectly executed.
Yeah. Yeah. You got,
Getting into the soundtrack, I gave it an 8. Go ahead.
no, I was just going to say, then you got like, what eventually is going to happen, what's going to happen is Hans Landa running back into the person that escaped him, but then also running to the Bastards, which he keeps hearing about. Like, everyone in the German army is scared of them except for him. But like, he's so smart where like, he like creates his own plan of like what to do in that situation.
And then getting into soundtrack, I gave it an 8. I thought it was a pretty great score. Nothing particularly stood out to me, but I thought it drove home the narratives really well and built suspense when needed. I think of particularly when the theater does get set on fire, that score was pretty great.
Yeah. Again, with a lot of these set pieces, you could tell in this that he's not worried about as much of the music as more of the score to not take away from this, what would be is a very complicated story to try to intertwine with each other, and rather like trying to play music that goes along with it, but rather just like a subtle track to it, which I think is like a smart choice by him.
Yeah. And then getting into the theme, I gave it a 9. Obviously, it's like the alternate history of war film, but I think it also serves as a love letter to cinema, just exploring the themes of revenge, propaganda, the power of film, right? With the kind of Nazi propaganda getting portrayed, and then the theater owner kind of messing with the film and showing some pretty intense stuff. Yeah, I just thought it was really great, obviously. And then you had we kind of talked about the moral ambiguity of the Jewish American soldiers who are then going after, really brutal revenge on pretty much their terrorists to the Germans.
Yeah. What do you think, Nathan, about the theme?
Overall, I mean, it's very well done, because the way that you have the movie starting out is you're introduced by this high colonel going to middle of nowhere just to capture or kill 3 to 4 Jews that have escaped. And he's going to that large extent just for that. And then you have the continuing of the movie with showing kind of the no mercy that they are kind of going through and wanting to just get rid of everything, get rid of all of them.
Yeah.
And then the band of heroes coming in to save the day, while simultaneously you have one that escapes that's also trying to do the same thing that you have a group sent from the United States trying to do. So it's weird how you have 2 groups trying to do the same thing, but almost interfering with each other, trying to go after the one main villain.
Yeah. I think for me, it's just, I mean, the main theme is like getting revenge of Jewish people against Nazis. And for me, that's a 10 out of 10, and hell yeah. So like, I don't know how it can be anything other than a 10 for me. It's just like, fuck Nazis is pretty much like the whole sentiment of the film. It's just like, fuck them. And the film ends in like, just sort of like, yeah, just fuck. You know what? I'm going to show in the film? I'm going to show in the film, just fucking killing Hitler, just spraying bullets into him. And then a Nazi guy who thinks he got a leg up on these Americans actually is going to get inbredded into his forehead, so no one can ever forget what he actually is. And I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. And then getting into the editing, I also gave that a 9. Very intense dialogue-driven pacing. Won the Oscar for editing, I believe. Not the Oscar for editing, sorry. I don't know what I put in my notes.
The only Oscar that it won was Christoph Waltz for Best Supporting Actor.
I don't know where I get that information. Anyway, yeah, the editing I thought it blended really well, especially the dialogue scenes. The camera cuts in the bar scene were stupid amazing. Like, it just was so well done. Super, like, that was a really long take. I looked, and that bar scene is like 30 minutes long, and it feels like an hour just because of how tense the situation is, and I really loved it.
I really like the editing as well, sound and film. He's just so good at doing those kind of different cuts. He's a controversial person as a director, but like, man, can he make good movies? That's all I can say.
Yeah. Overall, I gave it a 9.1 out of 10 or a 91. Really love this movie. It's amazing. So well done. It's, a classic. And I feel like it hasn't even been out that long.
Yeah. I gave it a 9.5 out of 10 or a 95 out of 100. Very high rating. It's one of my top 10 films of all time. Super rewatchable because that's also what I take into factor of if I'm going to say this is like a top 10 film for me or one of my favorite films, it needs to be rewatchable. Like no one wants to rewatch super sad movies. I'm sorry, but like no one does.
Yeah.
They could be super good, but like not rewatchable. And I'm like, okay, it's a good movie, but like, yeah.
Yeah, mine is a 9.6 out of 10. So I really like this movie. I think the storytelling in it is very well done. The amount of action that goes with the storytelling, along with the long dialogue scenes, even though I'm not the biggest fan of the long dialogue scenes, I think that just for whatever reason with this type of movie, it just goes so well together.
Yeah. One of the best movies of all time, in my opinion, especially of the 21st century. Awesome. So, all right, now let's get into it. Django, the D is silent. Django Unchained. My favorite movie of all time, as you both probably know. I'm obsessed with this film. I'll just let the cat out of the bag. It's a 10 out of 10 for me, 100 out of 100 for me. I don't see a single flaw in this movie. Just because I've rewatched this probably 40 times now in my life, just because I like it that much. Start off with the plot. Starts off with a bounty hunter, but who's playing a dentist is going after his or trying to get one of the slaves who ends up being Django to find out, like, get a bounty on these guys to get more info. It kind of goes throughout this to where he's training Django to be a shooter, and he's just a natural born like shooter, and it kind of devolves into like different interactions. But Waltz's character, or the dentist, he's kind of playing. He doesn't see the slaves like as slaves or black people as slaves. He sees them as equal. But no one else does in the South. So It also falls through like different interactions with them. And then the total second act of the film is once they go to Candyland and having that interaction with Mr. Candy. And that's just you have them going after each other in the film with not just Django going after him, but King Schultz also going after Calvin Candy. But also Steven, played by Samuel L. Jackson, also being like playing an Uncle Tom kind of character in it. And then this movie just hits on me for so well just based on that. But yeah, what do you guys think about the plot?
Yeah, I think it's a pretty amazing plot. Such an interesting kind of way to do a Western, I guess, is the way I'd put it. Obviously, we talked about last week his love for Western movies. And to kind of see that take place at such an interesting time in the West or in the South, however you want to describe it, it's definitely a Wild West feel to it. And I really enjoyed that in this movie.
The plot of the movie is great. It's, I would say it's you're right, it's a Western style movie, but it's kind of it's a unique Western style movie with it's a Western mixed with revenge a little bit because of you're trying to rescue somebody, but then you're also during the rescuing, you're getting your revenge on stuff that has happened. So it's very unique and very well done.
Yeah. So there's slight controversy, not really, but like the amount of detail about like that isn't really shown in a lot of other films about like the slave world. That's kind of like dark. Like Mandingo fighting wasn't really shown in like popular movies, like that kind of stuff. Like, was never really shown in like big box office kind of movies, but Tarantino's not afraid of showing it because I think it would take away from the movie trying to hide the fact of that, but rather it's super realistic. This is how it was. This is how dark. And also he never reveals like too much about Django himself, but rather just flashbacks. You don't need to see him actually going through like really crappy stuff in a situation. You see his scars, you see how he acts. That's all you really need to know. You don't need to give too much of his backstory, but yeah. Getting into characters, I gave it 10 out of 10. All these are going to be 10. But, Django himself, I think, is a great character that he barely speaks English, or he barely can like read, or he can't read and write at the beginning, and then like develops that. Never shot a gun before, and then just becomes like the fastest shot in the West because he's just a natural born, and that's just what he was God given. King Schultz, Christoph Waltz, won his second Oscar with this movie, and well deserved. Where he's kind of the main character for like the first 2/3 of the movie until he dies. And then Django kind of takes over the film from that point. And Calvin Candy and Steven are also just so good at being good, like horrifying villains. You hate them. Like, you hate both of them. Calvin Candy's just like the worst plantation owner. And then Steven is just like, dude, what? You're hating on like everybody that has the same like skin color as you just because you're like have power over them. Like, what? I don't know. Yeah, what did you guys think?
Christopher Waltz, clear standout for me here. Just how witty and charming he is. Obviously, him and Jamie Foxx's character Django aren't meant to be together, but anytime they walk in a room somewhere, he just wins whoever's there over with his charm and makes it acceptable. He makes them start believing that it's okay too at the time, which society says it's not. Of course, it should be okay, but yeah, I don't know. He's just stunning in this, and sad to see him die. Obviously, I would have liked to see him in this movie more, just because of how good he was. Not that it took away anything from the movie. The movie's still amazing, but yeah, man, he was stunning in this.
Yeah, I'm going to continue the Christopher Waltz hype train here because I think he is a great actor, and it's really cool to see as the movie goes on because he always is one step ahead of who he's going up against until he gets to Candyland. Till he gets to Candyland, he is then outwitted by Steven. And then that's where everything just starts to spiral right downhill is when he finally met his match when he went to Candyland. And that was such a cool thing to see as the movie progressed.
Yeah. Yeah, it's quite change up from Inglourious Basterds' role, where he's like the main villain, and rather he's like the good guy in this. But I think it's a good character death for him, where he's like at some point he just can't stop playing it fake it, and he's like getting money out of him, but he's like, you know what? And he was about to just give him the money to him, and then Calvin Candy had to get in the last word to like kind of overdog him, and he's like, you know what? This guy's not going to. If I'm going to go out, this guy's going out with me too, and the world will be better for it. So I thought that was like a really good character in for him personally. And then it also gives Django himself like the final act to himself, you know, to really just like create like that myth, the legend Django. Because this movie is adapted from like an earlier movie in the 70s that Tarantino got approval from the original guy to make it.
Thank God.
Yeah. The character, I just want to shout out one other character from one of the funniest scenes of Jonah Hill with the mask whole situation of like, well, no one, we like what she did, but we can't see out of the holes. Well, we won't do anything for you again. What if we just don't ride with them now, but next time we cut bigger holes and then we just keep going? No, we have the bags for a reason. It's just
to defeat the purpose.
Yeah, it takes like such like a negative part of like U.S. history, but kind of like doesn't turn into a joke, but like makes it funny. I don't know how else to say it. It's such a funny scene because like Big Daddy,
easy to laugh at them.
Yeah,
not
because you're laughing at them because you're like, these guys are just a bunch of idiots. Also because Big Daddy is introduced before that, and they're like, okay, Daddy, and then it's like, what? And then he's like, then he's just an idiot, like, and clearly like into his like sister as well, and it's like, all right, what are we doing? Hey, it's in the South. That's all I gotta say. Cinematography, I gave it a 10 out of 10. I thought like so many cool sequences, like the actual explosives used, actual gunshots, the final sequence where like it zooms out of the house to make the house look small, but then blows it up. I really like about it as well. Yeah, just so many cool different like shots in it as well. Zooming into like Django's face as well to see like Jamie Foxx's is like different acting.
Yeah, we need to get Django on a horse riding off into a beautiful background more often. That shit is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like so did you guys know that the horse on set was like actually Jamie Foxx actually knows how to ride horses, and like that was actually his horse?
I heard that.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah. So like all those tricks like were actually done with, and all of them, all the riding scenes with him and Christoph Waltz are actually them riding. Like it's not, no stunt doubles were used, which I think is like makes a movie so cool when you know that. And then just like these guys aren't like faking it, like these guys are actually like skilled to do this, and like they were bareback riding for a lot of this, which is really cool too. Very hard. So yeah. The dialogue I thought was really well done. There's a lot of quotable lines. Again, that's a Tarantino movie for you though. Kind of giving like again some karma right back to the slave owners or the slave torturers with like saying lines that they would say to him right back to them right before he kills them. He's like, I like how you die. And then it's like, oh yeah.
I got to bring up the scene with Leonardo DiCaprio where he slams his hand down and breaks the glass. I think we all know that actually cut the shit out of him. His dialogue delivery there, my God, it was taking me out of the movie.
Yeah, dude. One of probably his best roles.
Yeah.
Anything that stands out to you that we haven't talked about already?
No, I mean, it kind of, I guess, just to piggyback off of the dialogue between Candy and Django, I think is really interesting because you can tell the whole time it's Django is trying to be this type of expert on Mandingo fighting. And you can tell the whole time Candy is just continuing to question and get him to break or trying to show what he truly is doing. Because he's questioning him every single time on what he thinks and why.
Yeah. And it's hard not to bring up, too, that this is like the most out of any movie of all time of using the N-word, that's why it got a lot of controversy when it first came out. But, like, look where it's set. Like, it's literally set in the South and slaves are, like, the main point of this, like, movie. And it's like, I'm sorry, but, like, that's literally how they talked back then. Like, it's just not, like... Yeah.
You got to bring up the interview where Quentin Tarantino is talking about Django the first time he shows up on set.
Yeah.
And the way he's acting. And he's like, no, that's not how they acted back then. I knew you would do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Because the interviewers were trying to get him, and it's like, no. Also talking about DiCaprio. This is like peak DiCaprio at this point. Kind of risky to go with the movie where you're going to be slinging like the N-word back and forth and being like a horrible person, where like he doesn't really play many villains. Like I think this is his only film where he's really playing a villain.
Mm-hmm.
So quite a risk. We talk about Brad Pitt took a risk. He also took a risk, and I think both of them well off and showed like how diversity they can be. That gets right into acting. I think the acting was so good in this movie. Will Smith originally, Tarantino wanted Will Smith to play Django so much. Will Smith declined it, saying that Django wasn't the actual lead of the film because he thought Christoph Waltz and King Schultz was actually the lead of the film, which I don't necessarily disagree.
Yeah.
I can see both ways.
Interesting, though, that we talked about how he typically writes characters for an actor and he was okay with letting Will Smith go. You said he wrote it for Will Smith?
No, when he wrote Django, he really wanted Will Smith. Like that was his number one overall pick that he wanted. But then after Will Smith read it, he decided not to do it. And instead, Will Smith did Wild Wild West, which that didn't age well. So bad choice by him. But yeah, I think it's just a different movie with Will Smith. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx is really good in it. So it's really hard to say. I got some other casting what ifs. Kevin Costner specifically wrote a role for Kevin Costner to be like a Mandingo trainer and Candy's right-hand man, but Costner couldn't do it, so he took the character completely out of the movie and instead replaced him with like side characters. Yeah. Kurt Russell dropped out as another character that was specifically written for him, took out the character completely and instead merged him with what became Waltz and Goggins. And then originally Jonah Hill's character was supposed to be a way bigger character in the movie, but then he made it a little smaller, and they actually made like a comic book movie where Jonah Hill's character is actually a really big character in it.
Interesting.
I was wondering that because I was like, damn, that's a big actor to have for not that much involvement. Like, I mean, he's involved, but like...
Yeah. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, the last one, he also was supposed to be a character that was supposed to be in there, and then they just completely took out the character because Gordon-Levitt couldn't do it. Instead, he did Don John. I do not recommend seeing that movie. It's just a movie about a guy that's obsessed with pornography. So I think a lot of misses for those actors. I think they probably regret not taking it. Sound effects, 10 out of 10, because the song specifically made for Django. And then like every time he does something like really badass, it's just like Django. It's like a Western song of Django just playing in the background. I was like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
They definitely hit. Do you happen to know who did the soundtrack for this? I'm just curious.
I could try to
because it definitely gave that Western feel. It was really neat.
Well, okay, so the tracks composed specifically included by Rick Ross made some of them. John Legend, Elisa, Anthony Hamilton, Jamie Foxx himself sang some of it. Frank Ocean originally wrote original song, but it was rejected by Tarantino, which is interesting.
It's probably too cute or something.
Yeah. He was like, what are we trying to do here? You got anything to say about the soundtrack, Nathan?
Fantastic. Tough to beat.
Yeah.
That's why it's kind of at the top.
Yeah. Set design, I thought it was so cool, like so many cool lights. I think this is one of his more beautifully shot films as well. Just like the landscapes of it, of like the west as he goes more south. And then it just like straight up looks like it. May have read this somewhere, but like all of the cotton fields he actually planted like for the movie itself.
Wow.
For it to get more like a real aspect of like what it was like back then, which I thought was really cool as well.
Yeah, I think the sets were super cool. Just everything so old, right? I think of the scene in the tavern was so interesting when they were kind of explaining, Christopher Waltz was kind of explaining to Django what it means to kind of be a bounty hunter. I like that scene a lot. And I think that is the opening scene. Well, not the opening scene, but that really puts you in the time period. You know, it gives you the overall ambiance.
Yeah. And then like the costume
Piggyback
design
up on
too.
that.
Yeah, you got Nathan.
Piggyback up on that is like, so when he's going through the training montage, first he starts off up in the northern, I don't know, the like Canada area or Montana area.
Yeah.
Practicing. And then next thing you know, you see him with having to start killing for the bounties. And then it takes you to the one where it's the father and son right next to each other and feeling a little bit regretful on wanting to do it. I mean, it's different scenes that are pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then also like he's like shooting, or like at the end of that training montage, he shoots like the snowman and it looks like he's just by himself. And then at the end of the movie, to wrap it up, it shows him shooting. And then, but King Schultz is like actually right there the whole time, but they don't show that the first part. They show it towards the end of the movie, showing how he was helping him through training. Because you don't see Schultz for that whole final act, but then you see him again with each other. And I was like, oh man, that's pretty cool that they like hid that from you until the end. Directing, it's just so well done. Again, kind of a risky movie where like a lot of this is like kind of just like hard to watch things, but then also slipping in some good comedy in there to like not make this totally unbearable and not too gruesome. Like there's a lot of gruesome scenes, but he said at some point he needed to like change his script to make sure like people weren't getting away from this movie just how gruesome and like how horrid what was happening. Because he's like, what happened really back then was a lot worse things than what was shown in that movie.
Yeah.
So really smart choice of him to not do too much, but also do enough to where it adds to it.
Yeah, I think this movie was done really well. He didn't take as big of an approach, like I kind of talked about with him, you know, willing to flashback so much. I mean, there is flashbacks, but not as big as we see in some other movies. And I've seen him talk about it. He's like, I'm not trying to force making a screenplay like a book, but if it calls for it, then I'll do it. And I think here it didn't call for it as much as we've seen in some other movies. So it was definitely cool to see him, you know, the versatility of him and how he can do very different styles in that sense.
Yeah.
Kind of cool to pick up on some things that stay consistent within his directing style between all of his movies.
Yeah.
Because there's some things that kind of see and notice that are in different movies. Like, oh, that looks familiar. They kind of puts his stamp on the movies.
Yeah. Where like there's definitely monologues parts where like the people are just talking, but he also lets like the dialogue breathe, which I don't think enough directors do, where they kind of make it feel forced and like force the action or very talking at each other rather than like talking with each other, which I think he's really good at. And you can notice in a lot of his films. Editing, I thought was really well done, really crisp shots of scenes, like the shooting scenes of him, like shooting them down. Overall, I don't think there was anything. There's a lot of like unsound footage that he has from it to the point where Netflix, I don't know if you know, they released like Hateful Eight, like 4 different episodes of it, of like an hour each. He says he has enough to do that with this movie too, which I would hope that Netflix would buy it out, that he would do like a 4-part miniseries of the movie. So I thought that was cool as well.
Yeah, that is neat.
Lastly, the theme, 10 out of 10. Like a slave getting revenge on a bunch of plantation owners and slave owners to get back his girl. Like,
hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. It's like, how can you not give that a 10 out of 10? Like, come on now.
Yeah, no, pretty great themes. Obviously, the big one being revenge. and so well portrayed, obviously. I really enjoyed this movie through and through, and I think I need to move it up on my ranking list.
After talking about it.
Yeah.
I think the 3 out of the 4, or I guess 4 out of 5 movies, however you want to portray it as, the 4 of them always have happy ending. So Inglourious Basterds, you have Hitler dead, and then Django, you have the slave getting his revenge, and then Kill Bill, you have the bride, or Beatrix, has her daughter. So I mean, I think those are probably the only ones that are part of Quentin Tarantino's movies that have the happy ending.
Yeah. Pulp Fiction a little
There's one
bit.
more that I haven't seen.
Death Proof is happy ending, I know. Jackie Brown is a happy ending.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else.
Pulp Fiction kind of for one of the characters.
Yeah.
For Bruce Willis's character, like the boxer. He gets away at least.
Yeah.
Zed is dead, baby. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, kind of, if you look at it in a little way.
Yeah.
I mean, a little bit happy ending. I mean,
yeah, it is.
Tate survives. She doesn't actually die.
Yeah, for real.
But yeah, Hateful Eight is not a happy ending. Everyone just dies. Everyone's just dead.
Damn, spoilers. 10 years.
Movie's been out for now 10 years. So like, if you haven't seen it, it's not my fault. Yeah, said at the beginning of going over Django, but yeah, this is like the one perfect movie for me personally. Just 100 out of 100, 10 out of 10. I don't really, after I've rewatched it this many times and I don't get sick of it, I feel like I can't rate it anything else.
Yeah. I gave it a 9.3 out of 10. Really high for me, just a little bit higher than Inglourious Basterds. I love this movie too. I've definitely not watched it as many times as you, Tyler, but I've definitely watched it a lot.
Yeah.
I got this one as a 9.5, a 0.1 less than Inglourious Basterds, just because both of those movies are just neck and neck with each other.
Yeah. These last 4 movies that he's done, after Death Proof, you could tell that he was like, you know what, I'm going to screw this. I'm going to start taking more risk. And then he did Inglourious, Django, Hateful Eight. Yeah, Once Upon a Time.
They're all out of Weinstein's thing too, so I think that was a big switch up for him.
Yeah. No, it's out of that, and then also he just does like the history pieces, like instead of like doing contemporary, like modern day pieces and like having like modern day fit into them, he's doing it in the past, which I think he really likes. And hopefully his next one and his last one is also that one.
He's just so good at doing it.
Yeah, may as well. Awesome. Cool. So those are the 2 movies that we did this week. Now we're going to rank his top 10 films. He has come out saying he's only made 9. Of course, we're going to count Kill Bill as 2 separate ones just because I think we have different opinions about each of them. And it is how it was released. He didn't release like the whole cut until like 3 years later. So it's how it was and how it's known. But how we're going to do this.
It was the next year.
Yeah. It was the next year? Yeah. Okay. And then, all right. So how we're going to do this ranking is 3 different teams that I'll give available to you. And then from the wheel, you get to pick which team that you want to be. So team A gets 4 picks, being picks 1, 4, 8, and 9, and only gets 1 veto. Team B gets picks 2, 5, and 10 with 2 vetoes and 1 override. And then Team C gets picks 3, 6, and 7 with 2 vetoes. So
6 and 7?
Yep, it gets to 6 and 7.
What are we, 12?
And then I'll spin the wheel to see who gets to choose what they want. It's going to be choice based. All right, so Justin, you get to pick which one you want first. I feel like you want.
Give me A.
A? You want the 4 picks?
Yeah, give me A. Give me the 4 picks.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Then Nathan, or wait, let's see who gets it, me or Nathan. Man, I think this wheel just is set to go. All right, Nathan, you're second. You get to pick which one.
I will do choice C.
Okay.
I get 1 veto, right?
Yep, you get 1 veto, and then I'm choice
what
B.
What picks do I have again?
You have 2, or you have 3, 6, and 7.
Yep, and I get picks 2, 5, and 10. With 2 vetoes and 1 override. Nathan, you get 2 vetoes. The 1 override, you can't use it for your own pick. So like if I pick something and you veto it, I can't be like override. You have to use the override in the essence of like somebody else override or vetoes a pick and then I override that, saying no, I want it there, if that makes sense.
Fair enough.
Because if not, then it would just be like, okay, yeah, I want it here. And you can't say anything about it. It's just not collaborative.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll be the first one. It's going to be the one that I haven't seen, but it sounds like it's the worst one by far. So I'm going to go with Death Proof. I feel like it's pretty
Bingo.
locked.
Love that
Pretty-
pick.
Yeah, pretty lock of a.
It's not
Was
a
that
bad
10th place?
movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really
Pretty
not a
lock of
bad
it.
movie. It's got some pacing issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, check it out. See what you think.
Yeah. I'll check it out eventually. But I feel like almost every ranking I've seen of it, it's been last. So.
Why does
Cool,
it always
Justin.
already? Why does it already get hard? This sucks.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. He's one of the hardest ones to rank because, yeah, he's got so many good movies.
I think this one might be pretty locked into. I'm going to take Jackie Brown here. I like this movie. I don't think it's a bad movie, but I think it's a safe movie for him. I don't know what was
Yeah.
going on at the time to where it made him want to do this, but it felt pretty safe. I think Samuel L. Jackson's pretty good in it. Robert De Niro's wasted away.
Yeah.
Jackie Brown, the character is really good. I enjoyed that. But besides that, not much going on there.
Yeah. No, I agree with
Oh,
this pick.
Shit.
And now you
I'm
get another
scared.
pick.
Yeah, I know. All right. Here's where I take Hateful Eight, everybody. I'm sorry. This movie doesn't do it for me like it does other movies, like his other movies, unfortunately. I like this movie.
Am I able to veto?
Yeah, you can veto.
Yeah, you
I'd
can
like to
veto.
veto that.
Okay.
Okay. And I'm taking Pulp Fiction. I don't know what to tell you. He wanted to veto.
I just don't know what's next for you at this point.
Dude, if we take Pulp Fiction here, TikTok is going to light us up.
I know.
So I say let it ride.
I got bigger goals in mind, so I will let it breathe. I will let Pulp Fiction, even though Pulp Fiction
No,
is
can
my
we
number
talk about
3.
it for a second? Can we talk about
yeah.
it for a second? I have serious pacing issues with this movie. I think every other movie where he does the flashbacks, he does the screenplay like a book, I think it works perfectly. And I do not like it in this movie. And it stands out like a sore thumb, and I hate it. That's what bothers me about this movie. All the characters are great. I like where the story goes. I think it is seriously out of order in how it's done.
Interesting. Isn't there like something on YouTube I've seen where it's like done in order for you?
Yeah, but that's not good either because that takes away from Tarantino. I just think that, and this is just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people really love this movie. I just don't like how it was done in this movie specifically. I will give Tarantino his flowers in every other movie where he does it.
Yeah. I don't know. Nathan's never seen this, so like now we've got like 3 movies that he hasn't seen at the bottom 3.
I didn't even think
So
about
he's got like
So
no
you're just
input
trying
on
to
it.
redirect have everyone start attacking me now is what I'm hearing.
No.
No, I wasn't saying you.
Yeah. I wasn't either. Yeah, this is just my personal number 3, but I'll let it ride. I'll let it ride.
Ew.
Yep. It's all right. I got bigger things in mind.
Got bigger fish to fry.
Yep. All right, Nathan.
So I believe I
what's
have
your
number
pick?
7.
Yep.
Should it be a surprise? Kill Bill Volume 1. Personally, that should be number 10.
I'm vetoing this.
Okay.
No, I'm not, because he's just going to take it at 6. This is stupid.
Ready for number
That's
6?
my number 4, so I'll handle it.
Yeah. If it's your number 4, I guess that's not that big of a difference. But yeah, this is my personal number 7. It's a perfect rating.
Damn.
Nice.
So, but I told you guys there's 7 films I have 5 out of 5. So like, it's like a 5 out of 5 movie for me. So like, at this point, it's like, all right, whatever. Like, I just had a bigger fish to fry.
He's going for the number 1 spot.
No.
So for number 6, ready?
Yep, number 6.
Is Kill Bill Volume 2.
Yeah, I'm vetoing it.
Okay. Yep.
Righty? Then we will
I think
do...
there's a obvious
Here,
next choice.
how about this? Hateful Eight for number 6.
Yeah.
Getting collaborative out here. Yeah. Actually, I have a feeling I know what your next one is, Nathan.
I did
No.
my number 7.
I'm not going to
number
get
6.
tricky. We'll leave Hateful Eight because this is my number 6. Okay, for number 5, this is my personal number 8, Reservoir Dogs. Yeah, I like Reservoir Dogs, obviously, but it's like the 4.5 movie for me. For me, you could just tell he starts to perfect his craft after this movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty evident to me. But cool. All right, Justin, you got pick number 4.
Yeah, I'll take Kill Bill Volume 2, even though it should be Volume 1 here and Volume 2 at 7.
I'll let it slide. This is Volume 2.
I mean, there's nowhere else to put it at this point. So it's
I
like,
know.
Yep.
There's no point in vetoing.
Yep. All right. And then Nathan, you got number 3. This is where it gets really
Number
hard.
3.
I know what he's going to take, and it's criminal.
I just want to make sure I have the correct movies that are left. So it's Django, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Inglourious Basterds.
Yep.
So number 3 is going to be Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
It's my number 1.
You have a veto left.
I already spent it. I had 1, I thought.
Yeah, but you said never mind to the veto.
Yeah, but then
Remember?
I vetoed his 6.
Yeah, he
Oh, yeah,
vetoed
you did.
the.
Yep, you did. My bad. Yeah, I can't disagree, sadly, even though I really love this movie. Man, maybe I should have gotten a little tricky and played a veto. Oh, well. Yeah, should have tried to get Hateful Eight a little higher. All right, so number 2, I'm going to pick Inglourious Basterds.
Yep.
Yep.
And then Django for number 1.
Yep. That's why you get 4
Makes
picks, because number 1's
Yeah.
pretty much already chosen for you.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind
Yep.
it. I think
That's not a
TikTok's
terrible list.
going to be pissed at 8.
Yep.
Probably.
Well, I think TikTok's going to be, yeah, I should have. Why did I not veto? I have my number 3 and number 8. Why did I not? I don't know. For some reason, I thought you guys were trying to fuck with me and trying to put Django at like number 4. And I was like, I got bigger fish to fry. Fuck. I fucked up. I done fucked up.
It's okay. It's good.
Yeah, we're going to get cooked. Pulp Fiction. And then also,
I don't think people
Bottom
will like
list.
the fact that Kill Bill 1 is below
Can
Kill
I-
Bill 2.
Can I
Yeah.
make a one-time swap? Can we all agree to a one-time swap?
If
2
we all
movies?
agree.
Yeah.
okay.
You ready?
Of what?
So
Yeah.
it'll be Pulp Fiction for Kill Bill Volume 2.
No.
No.
No chance in hell.
I
I
personally
just
think it's
ranted
better.
about why I
Yeah.
don't like Pulp Fiction. And he's
Yeah.
like, I'm going to pitch you something you can't
The
deny.
only one that I would
I'm
agree
just throwing
with.
it out there.
The only one I would agree with swapping would be Pulp Fiction and Reservoir Dogs. That's the only one I would agree with swapping.
Yeah, I just enjoyed Reservoir Dogs way too much.
Yeah. Well, we're going to get cooked. And I didn't even use a
Well,
veto.
I'm okay with it.
Damn it.
I plan on
Any
standing my
publicity
ground.
is good publicity.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, all right. So our ranking is number 10, Death Proof. Number 9, Jackie Brown. Number 8, Pulp Fiction. Number 7, Kill Bill Volume 1. Number 6, Hateful Eight. Number 5, Reservoir Dogs. Number 4, Kill Bill Volume 2. Number 3, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Number 2, Glorious Bastards. And number 1, Django Unchained.
At least
Cool.
the top 3 are good.
Yeah.
I think we have a damn good list. I'm going to make my stand in the comment section.
You got it, man. I'm not
Thou
defending
shalt
the
not
Pulp Fiction.
fall.
I'm not defending the Pulp Fiction one. I'll defend everything else. Awesome. Well, thanks for coming on again, Nathan, and doing 2 episodes with us.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Well, everyone, thank you for listening. Hopefully you don't hate us too much for the rankings, but I think it's good. All right. Bye.
See you guys.